which is the first vessel that comes off of the heart, the first artery. So if you look up in the thoracic cavity where the heart would be, we have this loop right here. So you can see it kind of starts going up, then it does a 180 and heads down. That's the aortic arch. Okay, it's this guy right here. All right, then the aorta, so this is, again, the aortic arch, so this entire big, thick vessel that you see, that's the aorta. It's divided into the aorta in the thoracic cavity and the aorta in the abdominal cavity. So the aorta that's in the thoracic cavity is just called the thoracic aorta, and the aorta in the abdominal cavity is just the abdominal aorta. Okay, and it's just a big, big, thick vessel going down the center of the back of the body. Now, the venous component to this, or the other one, would be the vena cava. So you have the aorta, which is the artery. The vena cava is the large, thick vein. And this one, you don't need to know a abdominal or thoracic. You just know an inferior and superior and an inferior, based on basically where they're going to join in and dump blood into the heart. So if we look up here in the thoracic region, we have our superior vena cava. And then in the abdominal cavity, we have the inferior vena cava. All right, so next we're going to be talking about vessels and how they come off of the top of the heart, so specifically where they're coming off of that aortic arch. Now, because the aortic arch starts in the middle of the body and goes to the left, it creates an asymmetry in the body. So you'll notice that both in the venous and aorta system, up in that region, right where the aorta is hooking around or where the vena cavas are coming into the heart, you have slight incongruities, okay? The biggest one to note is with the brachiocephalic, okay? The brachiocephalic in the arterial system, it's the first vessel that you see breaking off of the aortic arch. So it's the one furthest to the right, if you're actually your person. So on me, it's my furthest to the right, same on you guys. And then what you're going to see is that brachiocephalic will then go and break into the common carotid, which heads up into the head, and the subclavian, which goes into the arm. All right, and it's not terribly well shown on this model, but the board model and the standing guy in the corner are definitely better examples of this. Okay, so take a look at those two for this. Now, since you need that brachiocephalic to kind of go the opposite direction of the aorta for the right side, well, you have the brachiocephalic for that reason, and it's going to split into the common carotid and the subclavian, which goes into the arm. On the left side, since the aorta is already going that direction, it's going to drop off the common carotid and the subclavian on its own. So you only have that brachiocephalic on the right side. So you only have a right brachiocephalic artery. All right, now on the left side, if you look at the next two bumps coming off of the aortic arch, this number 2 one, so the one in the middle of this arch, that's the left common carotid. Okay. As far as the vessels go on the models, like these guys, you don't need to know left from right, okay? I'm just telling you left from right because of this small asymmetry that you see in the system. That's this guy here, the common carotid. And then the one furthest to the left, coming off of the arch, there's going to be 3. That's going to be the subclavian. And if you can look at this model, you can actually see the subclavian heading towards the arm, okay, versus the carotid, which is heading up into the skull. All right,